إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله الحنان المنان الذي لا يحيط به زمان ولا مكان، القهار الجبار وبالمؤمنين غفار ستار. وبعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلوات ربي وسلامه عليه، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. وما قل وكفى خير مما كثر وألهى، وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. وبعد، فأحييكم بتحية الإسلام، فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm honored to be here, because I don't deserve the honor of sitting next to this sheikh. Alhamdulillah. However, lillahi fi umurihi shu'un. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, throughout the circumstances that He enacts, He has a wisdom. And I know this sounds a little bit deep, but this is the truth. I don't usually like to start my talks with a question, but I will ask a question, just so I can break the ice a little bit. So how does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicate with us? That's a question, so that means you have to raise your hand and give me an answer. Right? Who has an answer? Yes, go ahead.
Through the Quran?
Through the Quran. All right. What is that? Through Salah. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicates us through Salah. Okay, what else?
Messenger.
Through messengers. Okay, that's a good one. Through messengers.
The good deed.
Through good deeds. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicates to us, you said through Quran. Okay? However, there is more than that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is He communicating with us every second? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So that means every second there is communication between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and us. That means that this very circumstance that is being enacted as we speak is not a message from Imran to you. What you are hearing is a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to you. So respect it as that. So the Quran is not the right answer. Yes, Allah communicated to us through the Quran, and through that is our constitution and our means towards success, and throughout to jurisprudential issues. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the scholars say, إِذَا أَرَدْتَ أَن تَعْرِفَ مِنَ اللَّهِ مَقَامَكَ فَانظُرْ فِي مَا أَقَامَكَ. If you would like to know where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where you stand in His eyes, then take a look at the circumstances that have ensued around you. You want to know? You want a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Then take a simple look at where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you. That is a message. Every second there is a message. Who is the one that allowed Imran to be here at this second? Who? Allah. Is Allah the planner? Yes. Is He only the planner? He is no, He's not only the planner. He is the planner, the most merciful planner. And He is the most wise planner. And He is the all-knowledge encompassing planner. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So His planning is not just normal planning, right? His planning is wise, meaning behind every second, behind everything that is planned by Allah is a wisdom and a mercy and empowerment and knowledge encompassing factors that we are not privy to and we are privy to at times. Subhanallah. So, if that is true about the planning of Allah, when does the plan of Allah occur? When? The answer is always. Everything is happening, and it is happening out of a will that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed. So if He willed it, then there is wisdom behind it. So you today, you left your house at a certain minute for a reason, and you reached here. And Allah knew before He created the skies and the heavens and the earth that Muhammad Sha'lan was going to sit right there. And Bakr Asaf was going to sit right in front of him. And Kareem Usman was going to sit over there. Allah knew. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew for sure that this was going to enact. And there is a reason. And sometimes we know the reasons, and other times we do not. But regardless whether we know or not, we say what we are comfortable. Because we know the one planning our lives is whom? The all-wise, the all-merciful, the empowering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you should be happy to know that the one planning your life is the most merciful, most empowering, most wise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now I know the title of today's lecture is The Heroes of Islam. So I chose my hero, one of my heroes, and we all have many heroes, okay? And one of the ahadith they state, although the scholars say that it might be da'if, even though the meaning is right, that أصحابك النجوم بأيهم اقتديتم اهتديتم. Although again, it could be da'if, but the meaning is sound. The meaning makes sense. Which hadith? Oh, it's not even a hadith, as the Shaykh says. It's not even a hadith. However, the meaning makes sense. That the Sahaba, they are like stars. Anyone that you choose to follow, inshallah, it will lead you to goodness, inshallah. You can benefit from the stories of these people. So, I told you right now, I just gave you a long discussion about how we are all receiving messages. But not just me and you receive messages. Everybody received messages. The Sahaba received messages from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their circumstances were messages. In fact, sooner or later, you will realize that your whole life is nothing but a conversation, wallah, between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The circumstance ensues, and your reaction to the circumstance is your response to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see that? That is amazing, subhanAllah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent everybody messages. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also enacted some laws on this earth. I'm just giving you an introduction, so bear with me. So we agreed that there are messages. Every circumstance is a message, okay? And now, I just told you, I introduced a new idea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed laws upon the earth. One of the laws, بعد خلق السماوات والأرض, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after the creation of the heavens and the earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He made a law. The law said, وَأَنَّ رَحْمَتِي قَدْ سَبَقَتْ غَضَبِي. Indeed, my mercy supersedes my anger. In all positions throughout life, you will find that the mercy, this is a law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah didn't have to do this, but Allah prescribed this law. Okay? Allah prescribed this law on the world. On the way the world works, وَأَنَّ رَحْمَتِي قَدْ سَبَقَتْ غَضَبِي. Indeed, my mercy superseded my anger. Allah is speaking. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. So keep this in mind. These two ideas, keep them in your head. Okay? Everything is a message from Allah, and the messages are wise and powerful and merciful and empowering. And second, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised and prescribed a law on this world that His mercy will constantly supersede His anger. Simple enough? Are we understood? Any confusion? No. Right? Good. Very good. 7:55. Okay. The name of the person that I chose to speak about today is a man that received many special messages. And he is my hero because I feel like he is the hero of the modern youth today. The youth need people like this that they can relate to. Because, as the Prophet ﷺ said, كُلُّ ابْنُ آدَمَ خَطَّاء. All of the human beings are erroneous in nature. They are fallacious. They make mistake. Subhanallah. They make mistakes. Plural. Allah, khata means, khata is different than mukhta, right? Khata means he makes a lot of mistakes. كُلُّ ابْنُ آدَمَ خَطَّاء وَخَيْرُ الْخَطَّائِينَ التَّوَّابُونَ. And the best of those who make mistakes are the ones who can come out of those mistakes in an excellent fashion. And the most excellent of ways to exit from a sin is the same way that our father Adam exited from his sin. In the same way that the Sahaba left their sins, subhanAllah. It is by this door of tawbah, by this door of, subhanallah, enlisting and seeking the mercy and forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through tawbah, through repentance. The name of this scholar is Imam Malik Ibn Dinar. Malik Ibn Dinar was a student of Hassan Al Basri. Hassan Al Basri, الذي أتقن العلم وأتقن الخطابة, subhanallah, excellent scholar. Hassan Al Basri is Sayyid al Tabee'en. He is, they say, like the master of the Tabee'en. Tabee'en, you have the Prophet ﷺ, and then the Sahaba, and then you have the Tabee'en. Okay? So Tabee'en was anybody that saw a Sahabi but did not see the Prophet ﷺ. So Malik Ibn Dinar was either a Tabe'i or a Tabe'i, meaning he saw a Tabe'i. Okay? Regardless, okay, Malik Ibn Dinar was a student of Hassan Al Basri. And Hassan Al Basri, if you don't know him, then you are missing out on a lot. Hassan Al Basri was an excellent scholar who perfected so many realms of knowledge, spiritual knowledge and fiqh knowledge, and really rejuvenated the affairs of people at that time, subhanallah. An excellent scholar. And Imam Malik Ibn Dinar was his top student. Now right now, I'm giving you some of his qualifications. So you're imagining him as this amazing person. I know, okay? So Malik Ibn Dinar, one day, he was walking to his masjid, right? He was walking to his masjid, and he had a halaqah, he had a weekly halaqah. So Malik Ibn Dinar, he was walking to his weekly halaqah, and he walks in, and all of a sudden, all right, his students are coming by the thousands, subhanallah. He became the most influential imam in Iraq area, in Al-Kufa and Al-Basra area, subhanallah. Very influential. And people would come to his halaqas by the thousands. Not like my Kony halaqah, right? Like 10 people. No, I'm just kidding. Laugh, it's okay. So anyways, so Malik Ibn Dinar walks to his halaqah, and there are thousands of people walking, okay? And he walks in and he is crying profusely, subhanallah. Malik Ibn Dinar is crying. Why is he crying? I have no idea. And then, seconds later, or minutes, whatever, Malik Ibn Dinar starts laughing. Malik Ibn Dinar is laughing. Why is he laughing? I have no idea. SubhanAllah. So, his students were looking at him, and they're saying, Malik Ibn Dinar, what's going on, bro? What are you doing? You're bipolar. You're crying and then you're laughing. What's going on? You okay? So we need to get you some medication or something like that? Alright? So Malik Ibn, I guess that was a corny joke. Okay. Malik Ibn Dinar, he is sitting there and he said, subhanallah, I remember a day, 20 years ago, where not one person prayed Salatul Asr in this masjid. They said, really? When was that day? He said, do any of you remember that day? They said, no, we don't. So he said, it was a day. It was the day that my beloved teacher, Hassan Al Basri, passed away. 20 years ago. So everybody, not a soul came to the masjid. Everybody walked all the way to the janazah for Hassan Al Basri. Rahimahullah. Subhanallah. Nobody came to the masjid that day. And now I look at the masjid and it is full. Subhanallah. I look at the masjid and it is full. But I remember the day 20 years ago where I walked into this masjid and it was empty because everybody was going to witness the janazah of Imam Hassan Al Basri. Okay? So, and then I remembered at that point, 20 years ago, I was 20 years less old than what I am at this point. So I remembered that I was young. And I remembered my stupidity. SubhanAllah. Everybody said, what? The top student of Hassan Al Basri has some stupidity in his life? No, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. What's going on here? So, they all pin drop silence. He said, what do you mean, stupidity? He said, yes. After that, I cried when I remembered the death of my beloved teacher. So I cried at that moment. But then I remembered 20 years ago my stupidity. So I started to laugh. SubhanAllah. I wish that the young times can come back to me. However, they will not, SubhanAllah. So that I could do better. And Malik Ibn Dinar said, yes, I had some stupidity. So I'm going to give you some insider info. Right? Channel E, exclamation point. celebrities, right? So this is one of the superstars of Islam. SubhanAllah. Malik Ibn Dinar now, it is pin drop silence. He said, I'm going to give you guys my story. I'm going to tell you a story of myself. I'm not doing it to publicize my flaws. I'm doing it only to give you some benefit. I know I'm getting towards the end of my life, and I would like to give you a story that you may benefit from. A beautiful story. So, subhanAllah, I told you now, remember, messages and mercy, keep that in mind. Okay? So, Malik Ibn Dinar, he began his story. So roll up your sleeves, brothers only, okay? And get ready, sit tight for a day in the life of Imam Malik Ibn Dinar. Malik Ibn Dinar. Malik Ibn Dinar, he began his story. And he said, كنت شابا وكنت شرطيا وكنت كالصخر وكنت متهورا. He said, I was a young boy, I was a young man, okay, I was شابا, I was a youth, all right? وكنت شرطيا, I was a cop, I used to work as a policeman, okay? وكنت كالصخر, I was at the peak of physical perfection. I was very strong, subhanAllah. Very, very strong, good-looking guy, right? وكنت كالصخر وكنت متهورا. متهورا means I was overly courageous. I was a bit foolish in my nature, subhanAllah. كنت أفعل المعاصي ولا أشعر. I used to do bad things and I would not feel it. I used to do bad things and everybody's like, subhanAllah, this can't be. He's definitely talking about somebody else, subhanAllah. Malik Ibn Dinar, the top student of Imam Hassan Al Basri, Sayyid Tabee'en, the most influential Imam in Iraq area. كان يفعل المعاصي ولا يشعر. He used to do bad things and he wouldn't feel it. Subhanallah. And then look what he said. وكنت مدمنا على الخمر. And I used to be addicted to alcohol. No way. Yes way. That is what he said. Imam Malik Ibn Dinar, he moved on with the story. And people could not believe what was going on. That Malik Ibn Dinar, again, top student of Imam Hassan Al Basri, had this bad of a habit in his past. He said that was the case. So he said, one day I walked out, I was on duty, and I saw two people arguing. Typical Arabs, right? Two people arguing in front of a store, even more, right? In front of a store. And one man said, oh, you stole from my store? You stole from my store? How dare you do such a thing? And Malik Ibn Dinar automatically, like he gained they gained his attention. So he looked their way and he walked towards them. And he saw this man yelling at him. He said, you took from my provision? How dare you do such a thing? You are stealing from the provision of my daughters. أنت تأخذ من رزق بناتي. You are taking from the provision of my daughters. How dare you do such a thing? إنما تأكل في بطنك النار. Indeed, you are eating in your stomach fire. You are not benefiting yourself. This will only hurt you. Why do you do such a thing? أما سمعت الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام وصى عن الرحمة على البنات. He talked about mercy on daughters. Why would you do such a thing? You are depriving me from being merciful to my daughters. So how could you do such a thing? So Malik Ibn Dinar, his blood was boiling. He couldn't believe what was going on. So he investigated and he found out for real, yes, that this is true. This man stole from his store. So automatically he returned the belongings to the man who deserved them. And he said to this man, because subhanAllah, his heart melted from all of these words the man was saying. Rahmah al-banat, mercy on daughters. How could you do such a heinous, horrific act? Subhanallah. So Malik Ibn Dinar, he gave the belongings to the man. And he said to him, listen, just promise me one thing. Promise me when you return to your daughters, if you tell them this story and you find that they are happy by what had just happened, by the fact that I helped you in this, please tell them to make dua for me and tell them my name is Malik Ibn Dinar. SubhanAllah. So the man said, كَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيَّ أَنْ أَفْعَلَ. The man said, I will definitely do so. I definitely will do that, do not worry. I will tell my daughters to make dua for you, inshallah. So Malik Ibn Dinar, he went home that night. And he was, yes. نعم. Okay, there's a BMW, subhanAllah, blocking the light or something. Okay, brother knows. It's all good. Oh, the lights are on. Yes. Somebody asked me a question? No, go ahead. Okay, very good. Okay, anyways. So, Malik Ibn Dinar now, He just went through this incident, and he's at home now, and he's thinking about all the things the man said. He said, Rahma al-banat, Rahma al-banat, subhanAllah, his heart is melting from all these words. SubhanAllah, he thought, like, SubhanAllah, these two girls, they are helpless, and all they have is their parents. And he thought of these emotions, and he kept thinking about these things that the Prophet ﷺ said, that whomsoever has two daughters, and he raises them on Islam, and then he marries them off, SubhanAllah, كانت له حصن من النار, أو كما قال, it will be a protection for him from hellfire, or it will be his ticket into Jannah, SubhanAllah. So he kept thinking about these things, and his heart kept mixing these emotions of SubhanAllah, of mercy. And he decided that, SubhanAllah, that's it. I have come to the decision that I want to get married. SubhanAllah. So, of course, he pursued this decision. And of course, because he had a bad reputation, he could not marry from the best of families, but he married a decent wife, and he loved his wife so much. SubhanAllah. And he was very good to her. And circumstances ensued. And sooner or later, Malik Ibn Dinar had a daughter. And he named his daughter Fatima. And he loved his daughter so much. SubhanAllah, he had so much mercy unto his daughter. SubhanAllah, he used to carry her, and he used to say, SubhanAllah, my daughter, she is so helpless. She has nobody but her father and her mother. SubhanAllah, she can't do anything. She cannot do anything without her father and mother right now, SubhanAllah. And he had so much mercy unto her. And he still had this bad habit of being an alcoholic. He still had this bad habit. But he noticed, SubhanAllah, that the more his love increased for his daughter, the less he would drink. The less he would entertain the idea of alcohol. SubhanAllah. And his daughter grew older and older. His daughter grew older and older. And Malik Ibn Dinar started getting worried. He started to say to himself, I don't want my daughter to grow older and to see me in this grievous act. I don't want my daughter to see me in this disgusting, in this disgusting image. I don't want her to see me like this. SubhanAllah, this daughter that I love so much, to grow up one day and to dislike me, or to hate me maybe even. SubhanAllah, no, I cannot take that. So the more that his daughter grew older, the less he drank alcohol, SubhanAllah. So he is getting better. Malik Ibn Dinar is getting better, and his daughter is growing older, and he is drinking alcohol less. His daughter is getting older, and he is drinking alcohol less. 1 year passes by, a year and a half, 2 years. 2 years passes by. 2 years passes by, and Fatima is growing, and alcoholism is lessening. 2 years, and Fatima passes away. Fatima dies. SubhanAllah. Why? Why? Don't we ask these questions? He was so close. He was inches away from repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why did Allah take away Fatima? Why? SubhanAllah, we ask this question day and night. Why, Allah, why? We'll get into that, inshallah. Malik Ibn Dinar, he moved on. And as he's narrating the story, he says, SubhanAllah, SubhanAllah. Instead of going back to Allah in those harsh times, because who's the one who made the harsh time occur anyways? Who is it? It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Malik Ibn Dinar, he is almost baffled by, in retrospect, by his own actions. He is saying, SubhanAllah, I could not take it. I could not handle the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took away my daughter. So much so that I went back even worse to alcohol. SubhanAllah. Became so addicted. He said, SubhanAllah, instead of returning to Allah, the one who can actually do something for you, the one who can take care, and the one who allowed those circumstances to occur, instead of going back to him, instead what do? We allow shaitan to pounce right on us. SubhanAllah. Malik Ibn Dinar, he continues with his story. And he says, I continued, and I became so deeply involved, indulged in alcohol. Wallahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanAllah, more than ever. Every single night I used to drink so much. And I continued to do so. Until it was the day before Ramadan. I said, Ramadan, Ramadan, I can't drink alcohol in Ramadan, obviously, because, it's haram. It's like people these days, they say, like, the night before Ramadan, I'm going to listen to music so much, because in Ramadan, I can't listen to music. It doesn't make any sense, subhanAllah. It's the same Allah, it's not different Allah and Allah, subhanAllah, right? So anyways, moving on from that, he said, yeah, tonight I'm going to rip, I have to drink as much as I can, because I'm not going to be able to do so for 30 days. Excellent thinking, right? So, Malik Ibn Dinar, he said, I'm going to rip, and he did. He ripped it that night. He drank as much as he could. And he knocked out on the ground. Right? On the ground. And it's anticipated that if somebody is drunk and they knock out, they're going to see some nice dreams, right? Subhanallah. What was the limitation that I told you Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put on the earth? What was it? Somebody remind me. وَأَنَّ رَحْمَتِي قَدْ سَبَقَتْ غَضَبِي. I want to ask you a question right now. Malik ibn Dinar is drunk on the ground, knocked out. Is this a position for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be merciful or to be angry? What do you think? Logically, give me your logic. What do you think? No, I want like secular logic. What do you think? Angry, right? He is drunk on the ground. He's knocked out. So he's not doing anything good. He's being very bad, right? So it makes sense that this is a position for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to exercise punishment. Right? Makes sense. Look at the dream that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Malik ibn Dinar. Malik ibn Dinar said, I had this dream. I imagined that it was the day of judgment. I want you to imagine with me now. I imagined that it was the day of judgment. And I turned behind me and I saw an immense fire-breathing snake right behind me. Subhanallah. So he ran. He ran as fast as he could. He could not believe it, so he ran. Man, can you remember physical perfection? So he jet, mashallah, he was good. He ran track and field. No, I'm just kidding. How many guys are a cold crowd? You don't laugh. Anyways, so usually that joke, like, it works. SubhanAllah. So Malik Ibn Dinar, he ran. And he's running as fast as he can, and he sees on his way this old, shriveled up man. He's withering away, subhanAllah. And he runs to him and he says, oh, listen, I have an immense fire-breathing snake behind me. Can you help me? Please help me do something. Old men are usually wise. Give me some advice. Give me something, subhanAllah. So the man said, Ana shaykhun kabir. I'm just a weak old man. I can't help you, bro. I can't do anything. I'm sorry. But keep running. Just keep swimming, right? Finding Nemo. Just keep going. Keep running. Keep running. And inshallah, and you'll get somewhere. I don't know. Just keep running. So Malik ibn Dinar, he kept running. Alright? And he's running, and then he gained some confidence. He said, alright, I'm losing him. I'm too fast for him. Alhamdulillah. Right? So he's running, and then, subhanAllah, just as he got some confidence, he looks in front of him, and he's about to fall over, and Jahannam is right in front of him. Hellfire is right in front of him. So he catches balance, and he says, oh, I'm not going there. And then he runs the other way, right? And he runs, and he's running, and the snake is coming, he did a U-turn, or whatever, and he's coming, and he's chasing Malik ibn Dinar, and Malik ibn Dinar comes across the old man again, he says, listen, please, Mishan Allah, please, tell me something. Just tell me anything. And the man says, I can't do anything for you. Okay, I'm an old man. The man started crying, subhanAllah. He's like, listen, I wish I could help you, but I can't do anything. Please, just, you know what, listen, you see that cave over there? You see that cave right there? Yeah, go into that cave. Maybe it won't fit or something like that. Go run in the cave. So Malik ibn Dinar, he's like, all right, good idea. So he ran into the cave and he saw this amazing sitting place. I don't know how to, the Arabic word is different. I don't know how to describe it, whatever. It's a nice sitting place, right? It has couches and stuff. In the snake, right? He comes into the cave and he says, marhaba, how are you? Right? So he looks at Malik ibn Dinar, he could not believe it, subhanAllah. He says, أَصْبَحْتُ أَلْعَنُ مَا أَنَا فِيهَا وَأَكْرَهُ مَا أَنَا فِيهَا. I started cursing everything I ever did. And I hated my position, the position that I put myself in. I said to myself, subhanAllah, why? SubhanAllah, and his life flashed before his eyes. And he said, why did I do this? Why? It did not benefit me, subhanAllah. Look where I am now. It did not help me at all, subhanAllah. And then he said, that's it, it's over. Now the snake is going to come and he's going to rip my head off and he's going to throw me into hellfire, subhanAllah. That's it, it's over, it's done. And at that instant, Fatima comes out and she moves her hand to the snake and she says, go away. And the snake runs away. Malik ibn Dinar could not believe it. And Malik ibn Dinar, he started tearing. And his daughter Fatima in the dream came up to him and she started stroking his beard. And she said, Ya abati. Listen to what she said. Ya abati. Alam ya'ni lilladhina amanu an takhsha'a qulubuhum li dhikrillah wa ma nazala min al-haqq. Oh my father. And she recited upon him a verse. And I'm not going to give you the translation just yet. Bear with me. She recited upon him a verse. Subhanallah. And Malik Ibn Dinar, at hearing this verse, he started crying profusely, subhanallah. And then he asked his daughter, oh my daughter, what's the story with this fire-breathing snake and this old man? What's the deal with these things? So his daughter said very, very simply, she said, أما الحية, as for the snake, فذاك عملك الطالح قويته في الدنيا فجاء قويا لديك اليوم. As for the snake, that is your bad deeds. You strengthened it in dunya, so it came embodied in a very strong form today. As simple as that, subhanallah. وأما الشيخ الضعيف فذاك عملك الصالح ضعفته في الدنيا فجاء ضعيفا لديك اليوم. Very simple. As for that old weak man, he is your good deeds. You weakened him in dunya, so he came to you embodied on the day of judgment in a very weak form. As you all know, the Prophet ﷺ said, your good deeds and your bad deeds and your Quran recitation and your da'wah and all of these things, they will come embodied in your grave and on the day of judgment. And they will protect you. They will shield you. They will be either nice-looking, good people, strong people to protect you, to be witnesses for you on the day of judgment, or they will be bad-smelling, subhanAllah in the hadith, bad-smelling, very ugly, wretched people to be your companions in the grave, to just annoy you, subhanAllah, just a smelly, ugly-looking person right next to you the whole time. Allah is so annoying. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of creativity. SubhanAllah. Anyways, so Malik Ibn Dinar, he woke up from this dream. And he could not believe it, subhanAllah. And what was this day? Malik Ibn Dinar, now he woke up with sentiments of what? Of regret. Seeking the mercy of Allah now. He could not believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him an amazing dream. By the way, those of you who are into dreams, I don't want to receive questions about dreams, please. Okay, but I just want to let you know that seeing an ayah, a verse in the Quran, okay, in your dream, is considered a direct message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. SubhanAllah, it is a very real interaction. So see it as such. So Malik Ibn Dinar received one amazing dream. SubhanAllah. So he wakes up and he could not believe it. And SubhanAllah, what day is it? What day is it? It is the first day of Ramadan. And he said, SubhanAllah, you know what? This is the best opportunity for me. Now I can turn back to Allah. The first 10 days of Ramadan are days of Rahmah, thank you, mercy. First 10 days are Rahmah, and then Maghfirah, right? And then Itqul Min An-Nar, right? So SubhanAllah, he said to himself, the first 10 days are Rahmah, this is my best shot, I could do this, right? SubhanAllah, first 10 days of Rahmah. So he said, I have to develop a plan so that I could be good. I want to be good. I just got an awesome dream, so I want to be awesome, right? So what should I do? Think, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I know what to do. I'm going to go to the masjid, okay? And wait. Who's in the masjid? I'm going to listen. I'm going to talk to somebody. I want to talk to somebody to give me advice so that I could come out of this ditch of sin, of sinful action, subhanAllah, and evil doing and corruption, subhanAllah. So who better to go to than Hassan Al Basri? So he walked to the masjid of Hassan Al Basri. And Imam Malik Ibn Dinar walks to the masjid of Imam Hassan Al Basri, rahimahullah, and he walks into the doors. Listen to this, listen. This is crazy part, climax, ready? Okay? He walks into the doors, and before, he didn't even get to pray Tahiyyatul Masjid or anything. He walked in, didn't even get to say Salaam Alaikum to anybody, and the first thing he hears, the first thing Malik Ibn Dinar hears when he walks into the masjid is Alam ya'ni للذين آمنوا أن تخشع قلوبهم لذكر الله وما نزل من الحق. Subhanallah, the same exact ayah that his daughter recited upon him in the dream. Malik Ibn Dinar says, لو لفظتني الأرض وانشق عني القبر بعد موتها ما رأيت أعجب من هذا الموقف. SubhanAllah, he said, if the earth engulfed me and then spat me back out, SubhanAllah, that would not be as crazy as what I just witnessed right now. SubhanAllah, أي تقدير هذا؟ أي تدبير هذا؟ إنما هو تقدير رب العالمين. SubhanAllah. What kind of planning is this? What kind of SubhanAllah, destiny is this? This is the predestination and the will and the planning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Excellent planning, right on the dot, subhanAllah. So he walks in, and this is why I held off translating the verse, by the way. Because he walked in to hear the translation of this verse from who? From Imam Hassan Al Basri. And do you think the translation of Imam Hassan Al Basri is a joke? It's not a joke. Imam Hassan Al Basri, they used to say about him that, subhanAllah, when he used to talk, he would hit you like a dagger. SubhanAllah, it would hit you right in the heart. And the scholars, they say, the reason why Imam Malik Ibn Dinar, he says, that the reason behind this is because مَا كَانَ مِنَ الْقَلْبِ يَصِلْ إِلَى الْقَلْبِ. What comes from the heart will definitely hit the heart. SubhanAllah. This is, by the way, this is like an interdimensional rule. Meaning that right now, if what I am saying is from my heart, sincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it is definitely hitting your heart. You can walk out and you can deny it. You can say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Right? He's an idiot. Which maybe I am. Okay? But, subhanAllah, if I spoke from my heart, it definitely hit your heart. And subhanAllah, this is the secret that Hassan Al Basri had in his hands. He used to speak from his heart, so it hit their hearts. Subhanallah. مَا كَانَ مِنَ الْقَلْبِ يَصِلْ إِلَى الْقَلْبِ. So Hassan Al Basri, he began the translation of this ayah. And subhanAllah, the people who were listening to his story, they said, listen. Malik Ibn Dinar, listen. We love your story. Awesome stuff. But we don't care about your story right now. Give us the tafsir that Hassan Al Basri gave for this ayah. Alright, we want to hear about this. SubhanAllah. This is the juicy stuff. We want to hear this stuff. SubhanAllah. So Malik Ibn Dinar said, alright. Just calm down. Okay, I'll tell you right now. Hassan Al Basri, he started saying what Hassan Al Basri said about this ayah. This is how he began. He said, Alam ya'ni. Alam ya'ni. Two words. Alam ya'ni. Alam ya'ni. Alam ya'ni. Alam ya'ni. You get three tones from these two words. Alam ya'ni means, hasn't enough time passed? Hasn't enough time passed? خلاص. Alam ya'ni, the scolding. Alam ya'ni, alam ya'ni, alam ya'ni, ya'ni min al-an. An al-awan, ama an al-awan, atadmanu lahzatan ba'da al-an. Scolding. خلاص, enough is enough. Hasn't enough time passed? Alam ya'ni. Subhanallah. The scolding tone, powerful tone. And then you get the merciful. Alam ya'ni, alam ya'ni. Subhanallah, yani, enough is enough. Really? You're going to continue on this path? Alam ya'ni? Alam ya'ni, hasn't enough time passed? And then you get the urgency. Alam ya'ni? Bro, what are you doing? There's not enough time. Hasn't enough time passed? Bro, the time is ticking. Subhanallah. Ya ghafilan wa lahu fi ad-dahri maw'izatun. In kunta fi sinatin, fa-ad-dahru yaqdanu. Oh, you who is asleep. وَلَهُ فِي الدَّهْرِ مَوْعِظَةٌ. If you only knew, you have a real big lesson to learn from the concept of time. إِن كُنْتَ فِي سِنَةٍ. If you are asleep, no. If you are asleep, meaning if your heart is asleep, فَالدَّهْرُ يَقْضَانُ. Time is passing. أَلَمْ يَأْنِ. Subhanallah, you get the merciful, and you get the scolding, and you get the sense of urgency from two words. أَلَمْ يَأْنِ. And then he says, للذين من الكلام موجه لمن للذين فسقوا للذين who hasn't enough time passed for those whom what للذين فسقوا للذين كفروا للذين كذبوا بآياتنا who give me the answer للذين آمنوا سبحان الله إذا الكلام موجه للمؤمنين. Allah is saying, hasn't enough time passed for those who believe. Because Allah knows, wallahi Allah knows, that even when you reach the state of Iman, Allah knows that you will go through harsh times in terms of your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows that the road will be bumpy. Allah knows that you will come out of Ramadan and you will say, oh man, Qiyamul Layl, yeah, let's do this, man, yeah, right? And you will pray all night and you will fast the 6th of Shawwal and you will be super Muslim man, right? And then, subhanAllah, what happens? The days, they move on and it wears off, right? Subhanallah, Allah knows that. But Allah reminds you. He says, أَلَمْ يَأْنِ, hasn't enough time passed? أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُم. Look what Allah says. To those who believe that what? أَن تَخْشَعَ, that what is humbled? أَن تَخْشَعَ أَجْسَادُهُم عُقُولُهُم, their brains be humbled? Or their bodies be humbled? أن تخشع قلوبهم أي أن الحركة الحقيقية هي حركة القلب. Subhanallah, it's as if what is being said is the following. Allah is saying that their hearts be humbled by the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what has come down as truth. I'm going to say the ayah one time in English. Hasn't enough time passed for those whom believe that their hearts are humbled by the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what has come down as truth? Subhanallah. It is as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the true dynamic action is the dynamic action of the heart, not of the body. It is not ritualistic, subhanallah. Islam is not merely rituals. It is, wallahi, and this is what is lost. We have lost the spirit of Islam. We focus so much on jurisprudential issues. Oh, I eat the biha and you eat from Burger King, so I hate you. What is this? Subhanallah. It does not make any sense. Yes, these issues have a value, but it does not mean that it should cause separation. SubhanAllah, we have lost the idea that all of these rituals are to turn what? The body? Is it to move the body? No, it is to move the heart towards Allah. Allah says, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. On a day, subhanAllah, Allah describes the day of judgment. And He says, on a day where the money and the children will not benefit, except the one who turned to Allah. Turn, subhanAllah. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ, except the one whom approaches Allah. Such beautiful wording, wallahi. Except the one who approaches Allah with qalbin salim, with a pure heart. So if the salah, and if the sadaqah, and if the lectures, and if the conventions, and if all of these things are not leading to a sound heart, that does not make you arrogant, that does not make you ignorant, that does not make you compassionate to your brother, subhanAllah, then know that you have lost the true meaning of these rituals, subhanAllah. Alam ya'ni, hasn't enough time passed? We've been praying for so long, fasting for so long. Has the praying and fasting done its toll on you? You ask yourself, you look in the mirror and you say, where is my heart with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Malik Ibn Dinar, he moved on, and after he heard such a riveting speech by Imam Hassan Al Basri, he was going wild. He was saying, Alam ya'ni, Alam ya'ni, Alam ya'ni, Alam ya'ni, Alam ya'ni. He was rubbing against himself and he was saying, subhanallah, Alam ya'ni, hasn't enough time passed. What was I thinking? What am I doing? Subhanallah. I wasted so much time. Subhanallah. Hasn't enough time passed? Hasn't enough time passed? Hasn't enough time passed? Repeating it to himself, Subhanallah. And he said, he walked up to Hassan Al Basri after the dars and after Taraweeh and everything. And he said to him, oh Hassan Al Basri, I have to tell you what happened. And he told him his story. And Hassan Al Basri cried, subhanallah, from hearing his story. He cried so much, and he said, subhanallah, al-bintu tahira, jihadu abiha wa ummiha, fakanat laka hisnan min al-nar. Subhanallah. The pure daughter is the struggle of the mother and the father. SubhanAllah, is the pure struggle of the mother and the father. And because of that, it served as a fortified wall between you and hellfire. SubhanAllah. Do you know what this means? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saw that the mercy that He had upon his daughter, that the mercy Malik Ibn Dinar had upon his daughter was enough relative to his circumstances to be guided in the eyes of Allah. Subhanallah, subhanallah. Why do we waste our time judging others? Why? Wallahi, this is such a stupid thing that we pursue in our lives. Subhanallah. But I will get into that, inshallah. Malik Ibn Dinar, he goes on with his story, and he says, subhanallah, he says, wallahi, people used to look at me. And now Malik Ibn Dinar, he is speaking as whom? The most influential imam in Iraq area. The story ended, and he said, subhanallah, people used to look at me, and they used to say, this man, he is undeserving of the mercy of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. If only they knew. If only they knew. Malik Ibn Dinar said, however, the keys to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy is not, alhamdulillah, in the hands of people. You know, there was a man, I'll give you a quick story, tangent, right? There was a man at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, he walked into the masjid, right? We're all sitting, right? Just like this. He walked into the masjid from the door, and he urinated, excuse me, okay? He urinated in the corner of the masjid. So Umar al-Khattab got up, and he said, Ya Rasulullah, da'ani aqta' unuqa. Oh Rasulullah, let me get up and cut this guy's head off. Please, just give me the word. Let me go do it, please. Right? So, Rasulullah said, no. Let him finish. SubhanAllah. Let him take his time. Let him do his business. Okay? So the man did his business, and he finished. Alhamdulillah. Okay? And the man saw that they were, you know, there was an uproar. Right? Everybody wanted to get up and kill him. Right? So Rasulullah, he walked up to him, and he simply said, you know, this is the masjid, and this is a pure place, so out of respect, you know, please do not do this. So the man said, oh, okay. Yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. SubhanAllah, the Prophet was so merciful to him. So the man, because the Prophet was so merciful to him, he converted to Islam. He converted to Islam instantly. But he said, O Prophet of Allah, if I convert, first he asked, if I convert, will I go to Jannah with you? He said, yes, with the mercy of Allah. He said, SubhanAllah, O Rasulullah, I ask Allah that Allah bestows His mercy upon me and upon you and nobody else. SubhanAllah, because he was so angry at the people that were about to, you know, hurt him. SubhanAllah. Do you see that? So if man had the keys to Jannah, nobody would enter Jannah. SubhanAllah. And actually the Prophet ﷺ said this, that if man had the keys to Jannah, they would walk into Jannah and they would close the door and they would lock the key. Okay, they would lock the door and they would stay and they would say, I am the only one, alhamdulillah, you know, mashallah, that deserves to go into Jannah. Okay? SubhanAllah, this is the nature of the human being. SubhanAllah. So, that was a tangent, but anyways, Malik Ibn Dinar now, this is just to prove to you that the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is within, the mercy of Allah is within the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's as simple as that. So, subhanAllah, Malik Ibn Dinar says, thank God that I am running under the mercy of Allah. Now, we finished the story, right? But now I want to give you in this last, right, we have, I think, 25 minutes left, right? Till 9 o'clock we're going? 10? Am I that bored? Allah, brother. May Allah forgive you, brother. Okay? So, inshallah, I just want to extract some lessons for you so that you can really carry this with it. Because there's no point, wallahi, in going through an emotional roller coaster and then just walking out and saying, man, that was a nice story. Good job. Okay? That's not the point. Okay? The point is to extract some lessons, inshallah. So, the first thing that I want to get into is the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners. We talked about this, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala planned for you to be here, right? Could Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have deprived you from being here? Yes or no? Yes, He could. But He allowed you to be here. So in that is a message. What is that message? Allah is saying, I love you. I allowed you to be here at this time when you could have been somewhere else. So because of that, know that I love you. But let me tell you something. There's another message. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you that everything you hear, Everything you are hearing at this instant, every single thing that you hear, there is a reason why you have to hear it. It is not random. It is not coincidental. The idea of coincidence is not in the dictionary of the Muslim. It is not random. Every single word, wallahi, that is coming out of my mouth, there is a reason why you have to hear it. Not because Imran is saying it, because Allah allowed for it to be said. So I am just, wallahi, a circumstance, clothed, blanketed, subhanAllah, in a person, in a perceivable person to you. SubhanAllah, isn't that amazing? So, wallahi, it's a bit robotic in a sense. I am merely just what Allah destined for you to hear from me. That is what I am right now. So there is a reason. So let us look at the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Malik Ibn Dinar. If me and you had control over the life of Malik Ibn Dinar while he was married and he had Fatima, and Fatima was alive, and Malik Ibn Dinar was getting better, and the more she grew up, the less he drank alcohol, logically, what would you do? You would say, leave Fatima alone. Let her live. He is getting better. He is inches away from making tawbah. He is inches away from repentance. So let her live. SubhanAllah. Let her live. Give him this. He needs it. He loves it so much. Let her stay. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, no, I will take her away and I will make him Imam Malik Ibn Dinar, the most influential person in Iraq area, in Al-Kufa and in Al-Basra. SubhanAllah, do you see the planning of Allah? When Allah gives you a no, it is only for a bigger yes. SubhanAllah, that is the nature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the planning of Allah. Do you see the mercy of Allah? Yes. Did you ever have that one thing, wallahi, that you wanted so bad? You wanted to get into that school, or you wanted to marry this certain person, and it did not work out. Allah cut it out, and Allah said, no, Imran, no, brother, no, sister. And you said, wallahi, I know if I just had this, that this would be good for me. But Allah says, no, this is not good for you, and I know better. And I will make you something much more than you ever imagined. Did you think Imam Malik Ibn Dinar, in his drunkard days, the drunkard Malik Ibn Dinar, did you think he ever imagined that he would be the most influential person in Iraq? Wallahi, he did not think that. He did not imagine that at all. Subhanallah, subhanallah. However, Allah, just because He was merciful upon his daughter, just because of that, Allah gave him the dream that transformed his life in an instance where me and you would look and would say, what? This is the time for punishment. But Allah said, no. وَأَنَّ رَحْمَتِي قَدْ سَبَقَتْ غَضَبِي. Wallahi, how merciful. You see, the mercy of Allah is not just quantitatively different than the mercy that we perceive. It is qualitatively different. It is not only more mercy, it is different mercy. It is unfathomable mercy, subhanAllah. That is the mercy of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. He looked at Malik Ibn Dinar. That is why, brother, sister, do not judge our youth, wallahi. Do not judge the people around you, because uqsum billah, you could be looking at the next Malik Ibn Dinar. So, the point is number one, recognize that the one planning your life is not merely a planner, because we plan and we fail in our planning, yes or no? But Allah plans, and Allah says, وَمَن يَتَوَلَّ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ, right, correct me if I'm wrong, Shaykh, فَإِنَّ حِزْبَ اللَّهِ هُمُ الْغَالِبُونَ. وَمَن يَتَوَلَّ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَإِنَّ حِزْبَ اللَّهِ هُمُ الْغَالِبُونَ. Whomsoever is loyal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet and those who believe, then indeed those who are on the team of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are definitely victorious. Subhanallah. So be happy that the one planning your life is not only a planner, is the most merciful planner, and is the most wise planner, and is the most powerful planner, and is the most empowering planner. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In His planning is wisdom. like we saw. In His planning is beautiful, loving, compassionate mercy. As we saw, in His planning is empowerment. Did Allah not empower Malik Ibn Dinar? Wallahi, He empowered him beyond imagination. So know that the empowerment that you seek, the mercy that you seek, the wisdom that you seek is in the hands of the Creator of that mercy and that empowerment. Why do we seek? Allah says, listen to this verse, wallahi my favorite verse by far. Allah says, ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُم in Surah Ghafir. خَالِقُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ فَأَنَّى تُؤْفَكُونَ. Allah says, ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ. That is Allah. Here's the definition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُم خَالِقُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. He is the creator of everything. لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ. There is no deity worthy of worship besides Him. فَأَنَّى تُؤْفَكُونَ. Why do you turn away from other than Him? SubhanAllah, when Allah says He created everything, that doesn't just mean He created the Poland Spring bottle and the table and express clothing, right? That's not just what it means. Not just malmus, not just physicalities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of everything on an intellectual level, on a conceptual level. Allah is the creator of concepts. You seek love, and you seek beauty, and you seek success, and you seek wealth, and you seek power, and you seek glory, and you seek fame, and you seek happiness. Allah says, ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمْ خَالِقُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. He is the creator of those things that you seek. Love is but a creation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this creation glorifies Allah and it worships Allah. And it refuses, wallahi it refuses but to be instilled in a relationship that is satisfactory to His Lord and our Lord. Glory and fame and money and power, all of these things are mere creations of Allah that glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and wallahi ya'ba, they refuse to be instilled except in people whom glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do not seek the Lord of circumstance, then the circumstance will not seek you. Allah, you know Shaykh Mukhtar Maghrawi, who's an amazing scholar, heavily influenced me with this idea. You have to understand that the circumstances in your life, do you know what they are? They are a mirror image to the harmony that resides within your heart. I know this is a bit complex, but wallahi it is so true. It is a mirror image, meaning look at this. If you have chaos in privacy, then Allah will give you chaotic circumstances in your private life. And if you have disharmony when it comes to any issue, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make chaos in an issue that is related to that. Subhanallah. As the scholars say, al-jaza'u min jins al-amal. The reward or punishment for that matter is made of the same material as the action that you committed. So you commit a sin in this regard, then Allah will seek out a punishment in the same regard. Notice, subhanallah. So the planning of Allah is the best of planning. So make sure you have a sincere intention within your heart, because that is the only thing you have control over. You do not have, do you have control over circumstance? You do not. The only thing you want to do good. That is why you will see that the people who graduate high school and they say, man, when I get to high school, when I get to college, I'm going to do bad stuff. XYZ, right? Yeah, right? They will find what they intend. Because they do not control circumstance. Allah gave them control over this, over intention. So they intend and the circumstances ensue. You see that? And you will find the one who goes into college from high school saying, inshallah, I will be serious and I want to get into graduate school and I want to join the MSA. They will find what they intend. Subhanallah. It is merely because that is the only thing you have control over. That is why the first hadith that we all know, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Why? Why are actions judged by intentions? Because that is the only thing you have control over. Do you understand? So intend sincerely for good, and Allah will allow good circumstance to ensue. Now why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow these chaotic circumstances to happen in the life of a mu'min? Did the Prophet ﷺ not say, I want to give you a hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ خَيْرٌ. Indeed, the affairs of the mu'min are very weird, right? Very weird. Why are they weird, O Rasulullah ﷺ? إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ خَيْرٌ. Indeed, إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ لَهُ خَيْرٌ. Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Okay? Indeed, all of his affairs for him are good. Subhanallah, they are all good. How is that to be? Subhanallah, how is that the case? Sometimes bad things happen to us, right? Bad things, like bad, meaning perceivably bad things, right? This is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send you bad things, perceivably bad things, only for one reason. There are many reasons based on your level with Allah, but within the context of this lecture, there is one reason. Because you have turned away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are focused on all the good things that are happening. You are too overtaken by the circumstance that you are in, the money and the cars and all of this stuff that you have. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does is He makes you get into a very big car accident or academics. So Allah gives you some problems there. Or friendship. Allah gives you problems there. He takes that away from you so that your attention can be geared and say, okay, I got the message. I received the message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now. Subhanallah. Does it make sense now? Does it make sense? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends these things to us, these perceivably bad things, because we need them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to forcibly pull you into Jannah. Subhanallah. Even though you are doing bad, even though you are a drunkard sometimes, even though you are doing the most heinous of crimes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends you a hardship so that you could say, wait a minute, wallahi, I cannot go on like this. I need to wake up. This is the wake-up call. Subhanallah. Then the whole phenomena of أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا occurs. Hasn't enough time passed? Do you see when the hardship comes, when the hardship comes upon you, when Allah takes your Fatima away from you, when Allah takes your Fatima, and Fatima is symbolic of that thing that you love so much, then you will say, now all I can look at is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is in such a beautiful way, turning your attention to Him and Him only. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is good for you in the long run. And not only that, it's not like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you the bad thing and then you're going to wake up and then you're left hanging. No. Do you see? Allah will give you that and your iman will be intact and then He will give you beyond your imagination. Subhanallah. Allah said, فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give the one who believes in Him and does good a beautiful life, a delightful life. Hayatan tayyiban. Subhanallah. So Allah, basically, this is what He's doing. You are being bad, so Allah gives you a hardship, so you could be good, so that He could give you a delightful life. Subhanallah. What better circumstances do you want? Indeed, there is nothing better than that. And this is revealed in the ayah that Allah says, وَلَنُذِيقَنَّهُمْ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ الْأَدْنَى دُونَ الْعَذَابِ الْأَكْبَرِ لَعَلَّهُمْ what? يَرْجِعُونَ. Subhanallah, we will give them a taste of the lesser punishment, meaning the punishment by taking away their Fatima, okay? We will give them that punishment, better than giving them the very harsh punishment, which is the punishment of hellfire, so that they may return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you see that? This is the philosophy of punishment in Islam for the mu'min. إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ لَهُ خَيْرٌ. All of his affairs are very good for him, are excellent for him. We worry so much about these circumstances and we do not know that the creator of them is Allah. And I want to give you just 2 ahadith and 2 quick stories just to really drive this point home. That if you do not fix what is here, then you are losing out. أوحى الله إلى الدنيا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, He prescribed another law onto dunya. Allah, the Prophet ﷺ says in a hadith, أوحى الله إلى الدنيا أنه من خدمك فاستخدميه ومن خدمني, Allah is speaking, ومن خدمني فاخدميه. Allahu Akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we worry so much about circumstance and, oh, I need to fix this, and I want this to happen, and I want this to work out, and subhanAllah. Look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. And we, subhanAllah, what do? We look at the circumstance, and we work towards that, and we forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. SubhanAllah, it doesn't make any sense. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says on dunya that, listen, whomsoever is of service to you, meaning he serves your purpose, he serves you and he forgets me, فَاسْتَخْدِمِي, use him like a puppet. Wipe the floor with his face. Use him like a dog. SubhanAllah, you will find people working 20-hour shifts and forgetting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and will not pray, and will not give sadaqah, and will not turn to Allah. This is not the nature of life. SubhanAllah, you are seeking provision, you are seeking a spouse, you are seeking whatever it is you are seeking, and you are forgetting that the one whom in his hands is all this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you turn away from him. SubhanAllah. Malik Ibn Dinar is looking for peace, is looking for happiness, and he goes back to a means that other than Allah, the creator of happiness. SubhanAllah, does not make any sense. Man khadamaki fastakhdimi. Use him like a puppet. SubhanAllah. And then Allah says, وَمَنْ خَدَمَنِي, Allah is speaking, وَمَنْ خَدَمَنِي, whomsoever, if you find one or two people serving my purpose, فَخْدُمِي, then become of service to him. Enslave yourself to him. Become in his hand. يَتَحَكَّمْ فِيكِ حَيْثُ شَاءَ. SubhanAllah. He will control you as however he wills. If he wants something, he will gain it by way of his ambition and of his confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why do we turn to other than Allah? فَأَنَّا تُؤْفَكُونَ. Why do we turn to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He is the creator of all things? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Hadith Qudusi, listen to this hadith. He says, عَبْدِي خَلَقْتُ الْأَشْيَاءَ مِنْ أَجْلِكَ وَخَلَقْتُكَ مِنْ أَجْلِي فَلَا تَشْتَغِلْ بِمَا هُوَ لَكَ فَلَا تَشْتَغِلْ بِمَا هُوَ لَكَ عَمَّنْ أَنْتَ لَهُ. SubhanAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Hadith Qudusi, He says, my servant, Abdi, I have created everything for your sake. Who did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create women for? He created women for men, and He created men for women. خَلَقْتُ الْأَشْيَاءَ مِنْ أَجْلِكَ. I have created, subhanAllah, I have created Montclair University, and Rutgers University, and NJIT, and all of these places. Who did I create them for? I created them for you. I created the concept of happiness and the concept of glory. Who did He create it for? For the people in Mars? No. He created them for you. Subhanallah. خَلَقْتُ الْأَشْيَاءَ مِنْ أَجْلِكَ. I have created everything for your sake. But listen. وَخَلَقْتُكَ مِنْ أَجْلِي. However, listen, isma'. I have created you for my sake. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking. So Allah says, فَلَا تَشْتَغِلْ بِمَا هُوَ لَكَ. Do not work to what is already for you. Do not work towards what was already created for your sake. Subhanallah. عَمَّنْ أَنْتَ لَهُ. And forget the one that you were created for His sake. Subhanallah. Such backwards logic. You work towards the one that is already destined for you. Women and money and happiness, this is already destined for you if you are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But instead, you go backwards. You go towards the means and you forget the creator of those means. Subhanallah. And all of it goes back to what? To your heart. And takhsha'a what? That what are humbled? That their hearts are humbled. Malik Ibn Dinar's heart had to be humbled. So Allah sent the hardship to humble him. And at times, to remember Allah, your heart needs to be humbled. You are arrogant, so Allah makes a situation happen where you look in the mirror and you say, Wallahi, I was arrogant. Wallahi, I should not have done that. This was very wrong for me to do. خَلَقْتُ الْأَشْيَاءَ مِنْ أَجْلِكَ. I created everything for you. So humble your heart to me. Do not humble your heart to a mere circumstance. Do you see that? Does it make sense? I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it makes sense. If you do not seek the Lord of circumstance, then circumstance will not seek you. Meaning, it will not work for you. It will not work for you. You will try. You will, subhanallah, everything will be in a million different places. شَتَّتَ عَلَيْهِ أَمْرَهُ, as the Prophet ﷺ said. If you try to fix your affairs, you can't. You have a problem at school, and you don't have a job, and your parents don't respect you, and your brothers and sisters think you are very weak, and this and that, subhanallah. Your problems are in a million different places. If you try to fix them, you cannot. It is too much. But then there is جَمَعَ لَهُ شَمْلَهُ, as the Prophet ﷺ said, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will group all of your affairs in one block, and then, subhanAllah, you will get a promotion at work, and your father and mother will respect you, and you will do better in school, and your brothers and sisters, they will love you more, and you will gain better friends that will remind you of Allah, and enjoin you with good, and forbid you from evil. SubhanAllah. جَمَعَ لَهُ شَمْلَهُ. This, what a beautiful, wallahi, way of living, where Allah is the one who says, I will group your affairs. I will plan. I will take charge. Because Allah, by the way, here's a secret. Allah can plan your life as if you are the one in charge of the plan. Such feeble-minded planning. Such weak planning. And that is when failure comes. But the one who ties himself with Allah, with the all-living, you cannot give life to your academic situation, to your financial situation, to your marriage situation, to your whatever situation, unless you tie that situation with the all-living that does not die. If you tie it to other than the all-living that does not die, then guess what? Everything else dies. If you tie it to superficial arrogance and superficial means of self-fulfillment, then that will die. Wallahi, that will die one day. But if you tie your situations to the all-living that does not die, and the only way you could tie yourself is by a morsel that lies in your chest. That is the morsel called the heart. And if you do that, if you tie this morsel to the living that does not die, then guess what? Everything will be given life. SubhanAllah. Everything will be given life in your life. We think we are alive. We are not alive. SubhanAllah. The only alive person is the one who is living with the all-living. Otherwise, you are dead. The Prophet ﷺ said, النَّاسُ نِيَامٌ فَإِذَا مَاتُوا انْتَبَهُوا. People are asleep, and when they die, that is when they wake up. That is when they pay attention. So you are either dying or you are either living. SubhanAllah, it is not cynical. We think that we are living, but the Imran that sat down here when the lecture first started is now dead. He will never come back. SubhanAllah. So are we truly living or are we dying? The only way you are living is if you are connected to the all-living that does not die.